Willow asked me, if you fail the conquest mission, will you be erased? I told her no. She let out a sigh of relief and said, Makoto is a conqueror too. If he fails to win me over, he'll die. So, I agreed to marry him. Let's cancel our engagement. I hesitated for a moment, then nodded in agreement. I didn't tell her, I'm the one losing the mission, but the punishment for failure is death for her. Chapter 1. At Willow's birthday party, in front of all her family and friends, I got down on one knee and proposed to her. The system detected her affection level toward me had reached 89%, deeply in love. Just a bit more and it would hit 90%, steadfast and loyal. The system was pleased. It's another step closer to mission success. If nothing goes wrong, her affection will soon reach 100%, willing to live and die for you. I smiled slightly and opened the ring box, the large diamond sparkling brilliantly. Willow's eyes welled up with tears from excitement. Her fingers trembled as I slipped the ring on. Then, with a dull thud, her assistant Makoto suddenly collapsed. In the next instant, the ring slipped from my fingers. Just as it was about to touch hers, it fell. It rolled on the ground a few times, trampled and kicked by several people. Eventually, it vanished among the chaotic crowd, nowhere to be found. I looked at Willow. Almost instinctively, she rushed forward and caught Makoto's body steadily. Makoto convulsed in her arms, eyes rolled back, and passed out. I had never seen Willow look so panicked. She shook his body. Makoto, Makoto, wake up, don't scare me, please. I sighed and knelt down, placing my hand on her shoulder. I tried to calm her down. I'm a doctor. Let me examine him. Only then did Willow come back to her senses and hand Makoto over to me. After checking, I said, he's fine. How could he be fine? He fainted. Willow was so anxious. She couldn't even trust my words. I said helplessly, if you really don't feel assured, take him to the hospital. As soon as Willow heard that, she didn't say a word, just had someone carry Makoto out of the hotel. She placed him in the back seat. Her hands trembled as they gripped the steering wheel. I said, let me drive instead. Willow's eyes immediately turned red, and she looked at me gratefully. Thank you, George. I took her hand in mine. It was icy cold. No need to thank me. I'm your fiancé. After all, her body stiffened slightly. She quietly withdrew her hand without making a fuss. She avoided my gaze and said softly, just drive. At that moment, the system's voice rang out suddenly. Warning, Willow's affection level for you has dropped sharply to 79%. I frowned and looked at Willow. She was staring worriedly at Makoto in the back seat. Chapter 2. At the hospital, Willow ran after Makoto's stretcher, chasing all the way into the emergency room. After the doctors examined him, they said it wasn't anything serious, just a bit of physical exhaustion. Willow didn't believe them and insisted on having Makoto admitted. After I returned from paying the hospital fees, I paused just outside the room. Chairwoman Liu, I'm fine. I won't die, for now. It's just that George proposed to you, and the system punished me with an electric shock. Makoto's voice was weak, yet carried a trace of amusement as he winked at Willow, as if signaling, from this moment forward, things are clear between us. Now do you believe I'm really here to conquer you? Willow lowered her head and helped tuck in his blanket. I already have George. I won't betray him. Then why are you so nervous about me? Chairwoman Liu, can you honestly say you didn't feel anything? As a boss, I should care about my subordinates. Besides, I owe you my life. Willow's expression was calm and composed, but I noticed her hands quietly clenched into fists. That's her unconscious habit when she's lying. There was a time when a falling billboard nearly crushed her. Makoto had pushed her out of the way just in time. He was severely injured as a result, requiring dozens of stitches to the forehead, leaving a long scar. Willow offered him money in compensation, but he refused. All he wanted was to stay with the company, to stay by Willow's side. From then on, Willow no longer treated Makoto with cold indifference. Even an iceberg eventually melts. Then you'll owe me for the rest of your life, Makoto said softly, because the day you marry George will be the day I die. Makoto wore a faint smile the whole time, his eyes filled with certainty. Willow visibly trembled at those words, her face turning a few shades paler. You saved me once. I should save you too. Makoto smiled. Then marry me. I didn't listen any further. I left the hospital alone. Chapter 3. Willow came home very late. I was already asleep. She woke me with a cold kiss. You're awake. Willow tried to lie down beside me. I gently pushed her away. Even though we had agreed to no sex before marriage, I never rejected her from lying next to me. Willow was momentarily stunned and asked what was wrong. I heard everything. You and Makoto at the hospital, I said. Willow's expression instantly soured. She replied with a cold and sat down at the edge of the bed, saying nothing more. I couldn't tell what she was thinking. The silence in the room was so thick, it chilled the heart. At last, Willow spoke, but what she asked was, if a conquest mission fails, will you be erased? With that one sentence, I knew what she had decided. I shook my head. No. Willow let out a breath of relief. So I guessed right. She said to me, "You already know Makoto's a conqueror because you proposed to me. The system punished him with electric shocks. If he can't win me over, he'll die. But I remember, back when you were pursuing me, you never got punished. So I guessed that even if you failed, nothing would happen to you." I nodded. "Yeah, my system treats me well, George." Willow lowered her voice. "Let's call off our engagement. To save Makoto, I agreed to marry him." I gave a slight smile, a little forced. Even though I had guessed the outcome, it still disappointed me. Seeing I didn't respond, Willow added, "Don't worry, I love you. The marriage with him is just fake, to trick the system. Once the mission is complete and he survives, we can still be together. When that time comes, I'll marry you." "Okay." I hesitated for a long time, then said with difficulty, "What if I told you I'm the one who's failed, and there's a price to pay? I can't tell you exactly what that price is, but it's something you can't afford to bear." Willow's face turned cold instantly. "What price? Sounds like you couldn't even bother to make something up." Makoto was right. "You've always resented the fact that he was also pursuing me. There's no way you'd agree to let me save him. How can you be so cruel? You just stand by and watch someone die without lifting a finger. Have you ever thought, maybe he was forced to go after me?" Seeing how determined Willow was, even resorting to accusing me with harsh words, I sighed and nodded. "All right, I didn't tell her. I'm the one who lost, but she's the one who will die." Chapter 4. After Willow left, I held the engagement ring in my hand for a long time. After leaving the hospital earlier that day, I had gone back to the private room in the hotel where I'd proposed, and searched for a long time before I finally found it. The ring had been stomped on and was completely deformed. Its once smooth surface was now scratched beyond repair. It couldn't be worn anymore. Grief welled up inside me. Even though it was just a system mission, I had genuinely fallen for her. Willow was beautiful, had a great figure, was talented, and kind-hearted. She knew how to be grateful and return favors. She just had a rough life. Her parents died young, and she was raised by her aunt. But her aunt's family was poor too. Sometimes they ate, sometimes they didn't. Life was hard. She only made it through university with a mix of scholarships and loans. After much struggle, she finally succeeded in starting her own business. But then she was diagnosed with late-stage stomach cancer at a young age. Even if I was a god-tier surgeon, I couldn't save her. Fortunately, I had a rescue system. As long as I successfully won Willow over, she wouldn't die. I was so close, just one step away from success. It was such a pity. I let out a sigh. Seeing how upset I was, the system tried to comfort me. "Actually, before they officially get married, you still have a chance." I thought for a moment, then asked the system, "Can you detect her affection level toward Makoto?" System, "No." It hesitated, then added, "But I did detect her affection level toward you has dropped a little." I sighed. I'm afraid that as her feelings for me drop, her feelings for Makoto are increasing. The system was worried too. If her affection level for Makoto surpasses yours, not even a god can save her. George, you have to take some action. Chapter 5. For the next few days, I was working non-stop at the hospital. I could only find time here and there to send messages to Willow. She replied sporadically, sometimes not at all. I didn't even know when Makoto had been discharged from the hospital. A week later, I finally managed to free up some time. I bought a cake and made a full table of Willow's favorite dishes. I even carefully prepared a gift. Then I called her. "Willow, it's your birthday today. I specially prepared." Before I could finish, she cut me off coldly. "I've got something to do today. I won't be coming." I thought it was work. Her company had always done well, so being busy was normal, but I figured I could go to her office to see her. On her busy birthdays in the past, I'd always celebrated with her like that. Just as I was about to say, "It's okay," I heard Makoto's weak voice through the phone. "Will, can you kiss me? It's for the system's task." I really didn't want to ask you, but I don't want to get shocked. I was instantly overwhelmed with rage. Makoto not only called her Will like they were that close, now he wanted her to kiss him. "Willow Lou, don't you dare." The moment I used her full name, she knew I was furious. She lowered her voice and tried to coax me. "George, don't be like this. He and I are just putting on an act." I pressed. "Putting on an act that requires kissing. So if he wants to register your marriage, hold a wedding, or even sleep with you, are you going to go along with that too? Know your place, you're not some low-budget adult film actress." "Willow, what nonsense are you talking about? Like I'd ever sleep with him. If you love me, you should trust that I'll keep myself clean." My heart went cold. She didn't deny the possibility of registering for marriage and having a wedding with Makoto. "Willow, I trust you only if you've kept your distance from him from beginning to end, not when you've gotten closer and now even kiss him. Ask yourself, are you really just repaying his life-saving favor?" Under my pressing, Willow flew into a mix of shame and anger. "There's nothing improper between me and him. Your mind is filthy. She hung up furiously. I sat at the table full of now cold dishes and thought for a long time. In the end, I still messaged her. I remember every word you've ever said. You once told me you wanted me to be with you every birthday. I've worked back-to-back shifts at the hospital for a week, just so I could make time to celebrate with you today. But now, you're spending your birthday with Makoto. He even wants you to kiss him. How could I not be angry? From where I stand, it feels like you don't need me anymore. Maybe because of the mission. Or maybe because I was used to comforting patients. Whenever I argued with Willow, I was always the one to back down first. I also knew that in any relationship, someone had to be the first to yield. I didn't mind being that person, because the one who tries to fix things is the one who truly decides whether the relationship lives or dies. Chapter 6. I fell asleep waiting on the couch. Willow finally came home. She saw the cake and the table full of dishes. She felt a mix of emotion, some guilt, some genuine warmth. She gently hugged me, resting her chin on my shoulder. Sorry, George. I came back late. Still groggy. I patted her back. I didn't feel like arguing for now. It's fine. Let's go cut the cake. Just as I finished reheating the food and lighting the candles, Willow's phone rang. It was Makoto. To reassure me, Willow answered the call right in front of me. Sorry for disturbing you and George, but I got electrocuted by the system again because I couldn't get you to stay at my place tonight. The system says if you're still not here after midnight, it'll give me the worst shock yet. I really can't take it anymore. Got it. After hanging up, Willow looked at me, hesitant. George, do you think maybe I could? I said. No. Willow sighed in frustration. She wrapped her arms around my shoulders and tried to kiss my cheek. I turned my head away. I'm not only a clean freak at work, I'm the same way in relationships. When her collar shifted slightly, I saw a hickey on her collarbone. She had kissed Makoto. Willow froze for a moment. Surprised I rejected her. She rubbed her temples, expression helpless. My George is such a jealous man. Sorry. I only now understand why you were against me marrying Makoto just to save him. I forgot that you get jealous too, that you worry, that you fear losing me to someone else. I swear to you. Willow raised her right hand with 4 fingers out. I'll never cross the line. If I ever even think of betraying you, may I meet the worst end imaginable. Looking at how serious she was, I felt a swirl of emotions. I believed Willow truly loved me. I also believed she had no desire to betray me. But some things were beyond her control. Willow, when you're caught up in something, it's hard to see it clearly. A lot of things aren't in your hands. Do you know your affection level toward me has dropped significantly? Willow's gaze turned cold. She snapped. Why won't you believe me no matter how much I try to reassure you? What? Do you want Makoto to just die? He's a good person, he's innocent. I knew I couldn't reason with her anymore. I had only one move left. It's either me or Makoto. You can only choose one. Willow gritted her teeth. Why do you have to force me like this? I told you, it's just an act to fool the system. Once it's over, I'll still marry you. My choice has always been you. I asked her, have you ever considered the system might not be so easy to fool? You say all this out loud in front of it, don't you think it knows? Willow paused, surprised. So that's what you're worried about? His system's kind of dumb, it only looks at results. You can relax. I closed my eyes. I knew Willow had made up her mind, but I still wanted to fight for her. Taking a few deep breaths, I said slowly, Willow, I have reasons I can't explain, but please trust me, you can't save Makoto. That have it both ways plan of yours doesn't exist. You can only choose one of us. Willow still didn't believe me. She looked at me like I was a stranger. I didn't think you'd be so narrow-minded. You're a doctor. You've saved so many lives. Why are you willing to let just Makoto die? At this point, there was nothing more to say. I forced myself to hold back the sadness. I spoke as calmly as I could. You should go. Some things are like this. Even if you know the outcome ahead of time, you still can't stop it from happening. All you can do is give it your best, then you'll have no regrets. As Willow left, she stood at the doorway, her back to me, and said coldly, I never said this before, but you constantly checking my affection level like that, it feels like surveillance. It's disgusting. I waved my hand. Don't worry, I won't check anymore. After all, the dead have no affection level. Chapter 7. The next day, I wandered the streets alone, drank 3 cups of bubble tea, ate 4 portions of fried chicken, bought 5 watches, and a gaming laptop. Hick, I still want to eat from that barbecue place. Sigh. Looks like we'll have to erase your memory again. The system sighed helplessly. Every time you go through a breakup, you binge eat, binge drink, and spend like crazy. You gain weight, and your wallet shrinks. I said, that's the nature of the mission. Once you're emotionally involved, you can't help it. The pain you get often outweighs the happiness. Thankfully, I'm rich enough to spoil myself however I want. As I walked past a bridal shop, I stopped in my tracks. The staff was taking down the suit from the display mannequin. A month ago, I had already planned to propose to Willow. Back when we passed this shop, I had pointed to this exact suit and said to Willow that I'd wear it when we got married. She pinched my arm and joked, "Who said I'd marry you?" I huffed, "Who else could you possibly marry if not me?" Never thought that would come true. Willow really wasn't marrying me. I walked into the bridal shop. "Can I try on that suit you just took from the display?" "Sorry, another customer is currently trying it on. You may have to wait a bit." I turned around and saw Makoto walking out of the fitting room wearing that exact suit. Willow, who was sitting on the sofa nearby, instantly stood up. Her eyes were full of unmistakable affection. "Makoto, you look so handsome in a suit." Makoto grinned smugly. "As long as I didn't embarrass Chairwoman Lu." Willow smiled. "Of course not." Then she sighed. "If George were the one wearing this suit, I bet he'd look even more handsome." Makoto's face darkened immediately. The shop assistant's eyes darted between the two of them. Visibly confused, she cautiously asked, "Wait, you two aren't a couple?" Willow, "No, it's just for completing a task." The assistant suddenly understood. "Oh, being pressured into marriage by elders. Poor guy must be heartbroken." I swear, the older generation is so controlling. If you ask me, real love means fighting back. If you give in, it just means you don't love enough. Willow looked awkward and quickly cut her off. "How much is the suit?" After settling the price, Willow headed to the counter to pay, only to meet my icy gaze. The card in her hand slipped and fell. She looked shocked. "George?" Expressionless, I turned and walked out. "George?" Willow rushed to follow me. She'd only taken a few steps before Makoto groaned in pain behind her. "Ah, Chairwoman Lu, it hurts so much." Willow hesitated between me and Makoto. In the end, she turned around and went back. Chapter 8. Since I blocked Willow, she sent a cake to the hospital with a card. She used to do this when work kept her from going on dates with me. Now she was busy preparing her wedding with Makoto. She probably thought I was still easy to pacify, that as long as I got a cake and a card, I'd stop being angry. But this time, things were different. I tore up her card and threw it away. Then I wrote another one, wishing you good health and a speedy recovery. I sent it along with the cake to a 5-year-old girl who had just been discharged after an appendectomy. The girl hesitated to accept it, glancing at the orphanage director who came to pick her up. The director looked troubled too. I smiled and said, "Take it." I didn't spend a dime on it, just recycling something that would have gone to waste. Only then did the little girl accept the cake, her face shy but full of joy, as long as Willow didn't get unblocked from my blacklist. She sent me a cake every day, and every day. I gave the cake to a discharged patient. One morning, just after I parked my car, Willow blocked my path. Still mad? I shook my head. "No, I'm just busy. Don't have time to be mad at anyone." Willow smiled. "Don't I know you? That tone, that look, you're obviously mad." Okay, stop being mad already." She suddenly hugged me tight, leaning into my ear. She muttered, "George, I really missed you. I called you, but you blocked me. I went to your place, but you changed the door code. We haven't seen each other for days. You never used to ignore me this long. I'm about to marry someone else, even if it's fake. Don't you have anything to say about it?" I let out a sarcastic laugh. "So now she's the one feeling wronged. If you really missed me, then wait for me at the hospital till my shift ends. I'm on duty today. Let's see how long you can keep this up." Willow looked conflicted, but she didn't say no. Still, by midday, she was gone. A colleague said she got a phone call and just left. Chapter 9. The next day. I had just arrived at the hospital office when my colleague David came over to congratulate me. "You and Willow got your marriage certificate. Damn, that was fast." I looked at him, confused. "What?" David pulled out his phone and showed me. Turns out, last night Willow posted an update about registering for marriage. She'd specifically blocked me from seeing it, but forgot to block David. David hadn't looked closely at the photo of the marriage certificate and assumed it was me she married. I told him, "Look again." David, puzzled, zoomed in on the photo. "Holy sh*T, that's not you. Weren't you the one who just proposed to her?" "We broke up." I shrugged. David took another look at the men in the picture and suddenly realized, holy f***ck, isn't that the assistant who fainted the other day? No wonder Willow was so worried about him. They must have been hooking up behind the scenes. But seriously, why are they in such a rush to get together? So openly at that. Don't tell me the guy's terminally ill or something. I gave a bitter smile. Close enough. Then I explained to David how Makoto would die if he couldn't win over Willow. David said, they should carve Willow into the Leshan giant Buddha. I couldn't help giving David a thumbs up. After a full day of work at the hospital, I finally saw the wedding invitation Makoto had sent me. "George, I thought about it and figured I should inform you so there's no misunderstanding. Please don't be upset. Chairwoman Lu only agreed to this fake marriage to save me, but the certificate and wedding ceremony are both real. The wedding is scheduled for next Saturday. Hope you can come." I put my phone down and asked the system, when will it officially count as a failed mission? The system replied, on the day of the wedding. I frowned. But they've already registered their marriage. Doesn't that mean I've already lost? The system chuckled slyly. Call it my little selfish wish. Willow will relapse with cancer halfway through the wedding. By then, she'll have no choice but to beg you to save her, crying her heart out. I shook my head helplessly. The system really couldn't bear to see me suffer. Not even a little. I screenshotted Makoto's message and sent it to Willow. Congratulations. I'll be there on time. Willow replied, confused. I told him not to tell you. George, please believe me, everything is just a system task. It's all just acting. I replied bluntly. Oscar-level performances from two underground superstars. Chapter 10. On May 20th. I received a gift sent by Willow. It was a cheap-looking tie clip, like some kind of freebie, with a card that read, George, I'm busy today and can't spend the holiday with you. I know you won't actually break up with me, you're just being possessive. Makoto reminded me to buy you a gift. He also says sorry and hopes for your forgiveness. Not long after, I saw a post from Makoto. Got a gift today. Super happy. Attached photo, a wristwatch. I listed the tie clip on a second-hand platform along with the engagement ring from before. I also put up a few other gifts Willow had given me in the past. Then I donated all the money to an orphanage. Soon after, I got a call from Willow. You sold everything I gave you. I answered flatly. Yeah, throwing it out would have been a waste. Keeping it is an eyesore. Might as well sell it and donate the money. Willow didn't understand. You're this mad? I replied. I'm not mad. I'm just saying goodbye to the past. That's when Willow realized I was serious. After I hung up, she came to my apartment that night, stood downstairs, and yelled for me to open the door. I ignored her. She shouted up, George, open the door. I want to talk to you face to face. It's raining. It's cold. Do you really want to see me soaked and sick? In the end, she woke the whole building. Someone dumped a bucket of dirty water on her. And she finally left in defeat. George, I don't believe you've stopped loving me. I won't give up. But in the days that followed, she never came again. Chapter 11. Early Saturday morning, I received a photo from Makoto. It looked like a post-coital shot of him and Willow. George, the fake marriage between Willow and me turned real. At first, I lied to her and said all I needed was the marriage certificate. Last night, I told her the truth. And not only was she not mad, she even comforted me, told me not to be nervous or scared. You two never slept together, right? She was so clumsy and shy. Last night, in my arms, she said she felt guilty, felt like she let you down. But since she couldn't bring herself to say it, let me be the bad guy instead. I hope you'll give us your blessing at today's wedding. If you can let her go, Willow won't feel guilty anymore. I locked my phone and pressed a hand to my chest. I really thought I couldn't feel pain anymore. The system was angrier than I was. It growled. What a pair of scumbags. They've finally messed with the wrong one. I'm going to make her die by your hands. At the wedding, even though it was all rushed, Willow still gave Makoto the full royal treatment. The best hotel, the best decorations, the whole venue was a dreamy, romantic spectacle. David came too. He usually doesn't care for second-hand gossip. I was seated at a table with Willow's close friends. They all knew me. Brother-in-law. One of them said, Willow already told us this marriage with Makoto is fake. You have to promise not to take it seriously. Okay, if we let you get hurt, Willow's going to come after us big time. David slammed the table and stood up. What the hell is Willow thinking? What? Does she think George is some kind of criminal who needs to be monitored? I gave a self-deprecating smile and patted David's back to calm him down. Then I said to Willow's friends, don't worry, I won't cause a scene. But this wedding was doomed to end in chaos. Just then, the music started. I froze. It was a familiar melody. Perfect. The very song I'd said I wanted to use at my wedding with Willow. Now at this wedding, there was Willow. There was perfect. But there was no me. Makoto walked into the hall in a sharp suit, looking like some fairy tale prince. As he passed me, he lifted the corner of his mouth, as if declaring victory. Willow saw me too, but quickly avoided my gaze. Unable to face the ridicule in my eyes, like she felt guilty, I kept my face blank and said nothing. It wasn't until David passed me a tissue that I realized everyone at the table was staring at me with concern. I looked down. My hands were clenched so tightly that my fingernails had pierced my palms. Blood was oozing out. Then the couple stood before the officiant and exchanged vows. Makoto said, I do. Willow said, I do. At that exact moment, I heard the system's mechanical voice in my head. Mission failed. No sooner had those words dropped. Willow coughed up a mouthful of blood, right onto Makoto's face. Then thud, she collapsed. Makoto panicked, screaming, covering his blood-spattered face, totally lost. Guests rushed into chaos. Eventually someone remembered, there's a doctor on site. They turned around to look for me. only to find that David and I were already gone. Chapter 12. I returned to the hospital early. It didn't take long before I saw Willow again. When Makoto found out I was Willow's attending physician, his face darkened and he firmly demanded a replacement. But he was immediately shouted down by Willow's best friends, who pointed right at his nose. "Shut up. You think just because you wormed your way into this household, you're the man of the house now?" Then they turned to me, smiling flatteringly. "Brother-in-law, Willow trusts you more than anyone. You're the one who treated her stomach cancer last time. Please, you have to cure her again. Her life is in your hands." I replied with a grim expression. "No promises." After a full round of tests, the diagnosis was confirmed. Willow's stomach cancer had relapsed. The cancer cells were spreading fast. She had less than 3 months left. "Please prepare the patient and family mentally," I said. Both Willow and Makoto looked completely shocked. Willow cried out, "No way, you're lying to me. You told me after the surgery that I'd recovered really well, that the chances of recurrence were low. How can I suddenly only have 3 months left?" Then a thought struck her. Her eyes lit up, and she grabbed my hand tightly, refusing to let go. "George, you're still mad at me, right? You're just trying to scare me, aren't you? Now that the mission's over, I'll divorce him right away and register our marriage. Please don't stay mad at me, okay?" Makoto's expression changed instantly. "No, we can't get divorced." Willow turned sharply. "Why not? Didn't you say once the system's mission was done, we could end this?" Makoto gritted his teeth. "Willow, you forgot. You're already my woman." "Shut up," Willow snapped, her face turning pale. She screamed at Makoto, "You're not allowed to say another word." Then she turned back to me, carefully trying to read my face. "George, I cut her off with a cold laugh. "Just saving someone," and accidentally turned fake into real, right? Willow's face went completely white, her breathing unsteady. She knew I had a severe emotional cleanliness obsession. There was no way I would ever forgive her. How could I possibly want a woman who'd been soiled? At that thought, Willow's entire body began to tremble. She looked like she was about to fall apart. I remembered the last time she learned she had late-stage stomach cancer. She had looked exactly like this, fragile, shattered, and it tugged at something inside me, even against my will. Luckily, reason stopped me. I stood by the bed, looking down at her reddened eyes from above. Expressionless, I said, "Sorry, I have other patients waiting. If you need anything, talk to the nurse." Then I turned and left the room. Behind me came the sound of Willow smashing things. Chapter 13. Willow insisted on divorcing Makoto. Cornered, Makoto had no choice but to reveal the truth. Turns out, Makoto hadn't succeeded. He'd been lying to Willow all along. Getting the marriage certificate, holding a wedding, even sleeping together, none of that counted. Only when Willow's affection level for him reached 100% would the mission be considered a success. If Willow divorced him, the system would immediately declare mission failure, and he'd die on the spot. "Willow, I'm begging you, please don't divorce me. I really don't want to die." Makoto was kneeling on the floor, clutching the hem of Willow's dress, sobbing like his life depended on it. Willow closed her eyes. "If I had known earlier, I never would have agreed to save you. This was an impossible mission from the start," Makoto countered. "Why is it impossible? Your affection level for me was stuck at 60% for a long time, but lately it's gone up 5%. If you just let me stay by your side, one day you'll fall in love with me for real." Just as Willow's expression started to waver, I pushed open the door and walked in. Willow immediately snapped back to her senses. Shoving Makoto away in disgust, she turned to me, trying to show loyalty. "George, I won't betray you. We've had a wedding. You've slept with him. If that's not betrayal, then what is?" Makoto sat on the floor, laughing bitterly, looking completely defeated. Then he turned to me, pride in his eyes. "Don't you agree?" I nodded and handed some medication to Willow. "These should help ease the stomach pain. I knew you still cared about me." Willow reached out, trying to take my hand, but I subtly pulled away. I said lightly, "Doctors are expected to care for their patients. It's professional ethics." Willow froze, then asked, "What about the surgery? When will it be?" I shook my head. "In your condition, surgery is no longer viable. Even chemotherapy would only increase your suffering. Let's go with palliative care. Spend your final days saying goodbye to those you love." Both Willow and Makoto looked stunned. Makoto cursed me as an incompetent doctor and said he'd transfer Willow to the best hospital, but Willow shouted, "No, only George can save me. Last time, every doctor said I wouldn't make it, and George still pulled me back from death. He can do it again." She grabbed me like I was her last hope. "George, you're just mad at me, right? You do have a way to save me, don't you?" I sighed and shook my head. "No, let me be honest with you. From the very beginning, between you and Makoto, only one of you was ever meant to survive." Willow froze. "What do you mean?" Chapter 14. I raised an eyebrow. You really want to know? I'm afraid you'll regret it. Willow frowned. Just tell me, I sighed. Well, I've already failed. No point in hiding it anymore. The cost of my mission failure is you. Willow looked at me in disbelief. How is that possible? If you failed your mission, why should I be the one to die? I said. Because you were supposed to die 3 years ago. Back then, you had 0 chance of surviving, but I had a rescue system. When your affection level toward me hit 60%, the surgery had a 90% success rate. When it reached 100%, the cancer would never come back, and you'd live a long, healthy life. But once the mission fails, your cancer returns immediately, and it's untreatable. Willow's pale lips trembled. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I couldn't. If you stayed with me only because you were afraid of dying, the mission would never succeed. Willow, only if you loved me wholeheartedly could you be saved. In that instant, Willow's strength drained from her. Cancer had already thinned her out in a matter of days. The despair and collapse in her expression was the same as every terminal patient I'd ever seen. Death is the most primal fear of all. Makoto stood nearby, face dark, whispering. So from the start, I was doomed to fail. But then his eyes lit up. He grabbed Willow's thin shoulders. No. As long as your affection for me reaches 100% before you die, I'll survive. You really think that's possible? Willow gave him a bitter, mocking look. You lied to me so badly. How could I ever love you? Makoto brushed his bangs aside, revealing a deep scar on his forehead. Don't forget, you owe me your life. You can't just abandon me. Willow's eyes narrowed. Love is love. A life debt doesn't buy that. And besides, she sneered. You knew that billboard was going to fall, didn't you? Makoto froze. Then why didn't you expose me? Willow lowered her gaze, but didn't answer. Chapter 15. During morning rounds, Willow looked terrible. After finishing her examination, I asked, "Are you feeling unwell today?" Willow stared straight at me. My stomach really hurts. I can't eat anything. Her best friend chimed in from the side. Brother-in-law. Willow hasn't eaten since yesterday. She said when her illness was at its worst 3 years ago, she couldn't eat either. The only thing she could stomach was the porridge you made for her. I turned to the intern behind me. She can't eat. Hook her up to some for nutrition. The intern nodded solemnly. And one more thing. I turned to Willow's friend. Please refer to me as Doctor. Your brother-in-law is Makoto. With that, I turned to leave for the next patient room. Willow called out to me. Pulled out a divorce certificate from under her pillow. George, I divorced him. I paused mid-step. That's a sad thing. Do you still want me? Her eyes brimmed with tears. Like an abandoned puppy. Just hoping her master would turn around and look at her again, but I only walked away, back turned, and left the room without hesitation. I don't take back used goods. Chapter 16. Because I refused to perform surgery or chemotherapy for Willow. Her friends assumed I was holding a grudge. They took her to other hospitals, even overseas, but the result was always the same. Every doctor said there was nothing that could be done. After circling back and forth, she ended up back in my hands. Willow lay pale and frail in her hospital bed. George. I'm sorry. I really regret it, I said. A lot of people only start repenting when they're about to die. But that kind of apology means nothing to the person who was hurt. Her body trembled. Do you still love me? I replied. I only like women who are clean. Willow closed her eyes. A tear slipping from the corner. I'm sorry. That night, he drugged me. I wasn't fully conscious. I mistook him for you, I said. Then you were too careless. Willow whispered. It was my fault. I should never have agreed to save him. I invited the wolf into the house. I shook my head. No, your mistake was believing him, and not believing me. Tears finally spilled down Willow's cheeks. I couldn't tell whether she regretted more, or feared death more. Do the surgery for me, if I have to die. I want to die by your hands, Willow said. Hands in the pockets of my white coat, I replied. My schedule's full for the next month. Willow gave a bitter laugh. So you can't even grant me my final wish? I nodded. Correct. Willow, after I die, will you go after someone new? Me. Hard to say. It's rare to find a compatible mission target. She paused, then pleaded softly. After I'm gone, could you visit me during Qingming each year? Just once a year. That's all I ask. I shook my head. After you die, the system will erase all memories I have of you. Willow's voice trembled. So I won't even leave a single trace in your life? I said nothing. She understood. Lowering her eyes, she whispered. Then at least, please accept my final apology. Chapter 17. Willow had no family. Makoto was hit by a car and died on the very day they finalized the divorce. She wrote a will, leaving her entire estate to me. I personally arranged her funeral. After the mourners left, a light misty rain began to fall across the horizon. I stood in front of her tombstone and asked the system, How many is this now? The system replied. The third, I asked. Other systems erase the host if the mission fails. Why don't you do the same? Why would I erase you? You've done an excellent job, but I failed again. Maybe I'm just not good enough. The system paused and thought. I think it's a matter of perspective. These targets, you know, the ones you're supposed to win over, they tend to enjoy the feeling of being a savior. To them, loyalty is the least important virtue, I murmured. Then, maybe next time we try one with a Yandere tendency. The system responded. Not a bad suggestion. I'll now proceed to erase all your memories of Willow. Erasing in progress. Erasure complete. New target detected. Host, please proceed to the designated location. I returned to the hospital and met the person the system had mentioned, a girl with an innocent, pure-looking face. I flipped open her chart. Her name was written there. Anna. Doctor, you'll save me, won't you? She asked softly, eyes full of fragile hope. I closed the chart and smiled. My roommate finally dropped the act. He publicly announced that he was the heir to the Georgezilla group. My girlfriend, who looked down on me for being poor, immediately broke up with me and ran straight into the arms of my rich second-generation roommate. What she didn't know was, I'm my dad's only son, and that rich kid she clung to. He's just a scholarship student sponsored by my family. Chapter 1. It was senior year, and during my internship, my dad forced a company onto me to manage. I pouted. What's a rich heir to do if he doesn't want to work hard? I pushed open the door to our dorm. The loud chatter inside instantly came to a halt. Makoto shot a disdainful glance at the takeout in my hand. He sneered and said, George, we're about to graduate. Can't you eat something decent for once? These sad steamed buns and chicken feet, you've been living off this crap for 4 years and you're still not sick of it. I wasn't about to let him get the last word, so I shot back. Seriously, you've been wearing that fake gold watch for 4 years and haven't gotten tired of it either. When I first saw him wearing that thing freshman year, I was speechless. It was clearly fake, but I couldn't be bothered to expose him at the time. Makoto's face darkened as he pointed at me. Don't talk nonsense. I bought this from an official store. I casually pulled out a magnet and slapped it on the watch. Cue awkward moment. The magnet clung tightly to the watch. The silence was painfully awkward. Makoto's face flushed bright red, all the way to his neck. Grinding his teeth, he tried to save face. So what? It's just a cheap watch. We've got boxes of gold bars at home. One of our bootlicking roommates quickly chimed in. Exactly. Makoto's dad is the CEO of a listed company. He can have whatever he wants. I watched as Makoto threw the fake watch into the trash. I asked, not short on cash? Huh. Then how come I've never seen you use anything actually valuable? And that watch, after 4 years of wear, it's practically fused to your wrist. Makoto glared at me like he wanted to kill me. Another roommate jumped in to defend him. You don't get it. Rich people like to keep a low profile. Makoto immediately followed up. Yeah, my dad's always telling me to stay low-key. George, instead of keeping tabs on me, maybe you should focus on finding a company for your internship. Not all of us are lucky enough to join our family business after graduation like I am. No matter how hard he tried to sound casual, the smugness was obvious. From the first year of college, it's always been my dad this, my dad that. 4 years in, and none of us had ever figured out who this mysterious dad actually was. Chapter 2. My phone rang. It was my girlfriend calling. As I stepped out the door, I deliberately tossed a Phoenix Tower takeout bag into the trash. One of my roommates spotted the logo and excitedly fished it out. Holy crap, is this from Phoenix Tower? I heard the food there is insanely expensive. Makoto's expression instantly darkened. He clenched his teeth and said, must be a knockoff bag. No way he could afford Phoenix Tower. Everyone knows he's just a broke simp living off his girlfriend. The guy hasn't been able to feed himself for 4 years without her bailing him out. Pathetic. The other roommate nodded in agreement. After all, George never looked like a rich guy during our 4 years in college. Standing by the door, I frowned at their words. Excuse me. When did I ever live off Willow? I spent plenty of money on her. Thank you very much. Willow, I'm over here. I waved her over, but as soon as she approached, she snapped at me. George, can you not act so excited every time you see me? And seriously, look at what you're wearing. It's embarrassing. I was speechless. I mean, this outfit was custom designed by Master Leon himself, baggy shorts and tank top combo. I thought it was pretty chill. She huffed. I can't even stand being around you for 1 more minute. Let's break up. Makoto said he could get me a job at his family's company. He's the only one who deserves someone like me. I gave a cold laugh and agreed to the breakup without hesitation. Willow's face turned ugly. She expected me to beg her to stay, but I didn't. That infuriated her even more. The next day, at Georgezilla Group, I unexpectedly caught sight of 2 very familiar figures, Makoto and Willow. Shouldn't they be at his family's company at this hour? Why were they here? Makoto spotted me at the door and sneered. What are you doing here? The Georgezilla Group isn't some place just anyone can walk into, I replied. I thought you said you were going to work at your dad's company. Don't tell me this is your dad's company. Makoto gave me a smug look, like I wasn't completely clueless. I was speechless. I was joking, but Makoto actually went along with it. Willow clung to his arm like a little lovebird and chimed in. I only love Makoto. Don't embarrass yourself here, just go find a construction site to work at or something. I still thought this had to be some kind of joke, until Makoto pulled out a photo of him with my dad. My brain short-circuited. That really was my dad in the picture. Chapter 3. I couldn't even focus on work after that. I drove straight to the Georgezilla Group HQ. After asking around, I finally got the truth. Makoto was one of the students my dad had sponsored. I sipped my tea and asked, so, he's not actually some rich second-gen heir? My dad shook his head. He told me Makoto had 4 younger siblings back in the mountains, and he planned to keep supporting them through school as well. He showed me the original photo, same one Makoto had shown me, except this version had Makoto's entire extended family in it. Turns out, Makoto had deliberately photoshopped his version. I told my dad all about Makoto's behavior at school. He was furious. I quickly calmed him down. Don't get angry, I'll handle it, just play along with me when the time comes. Meanwhile, back at our school forum, that photo of Makoto and my dad was being reposted like wildfire. Everyone now believed Makoto was the heir to the Georgezilla Group. When I returned to the dorm, I heard my roommates showering him with praise. Makoto, I can't believe your dad is the chairman of Georgezilla Group. You really kept that hidden well. Men. Makoto basked in their admiration, loving every second of it. I pushed the door open. Makoto shot me a dismissive look and said, George, let me guess, didn't get into Georgezilla Group, did you? One roommate jumped on the chance to suck up to him. Someone like him, please. Georgezilla Group would never hire that kind of loser. He probably got kicked out before he even reached the front gate. I posted the original photo, straight from my dad, into the dorm group chat. Makoto glanced at it, not showing a hint of panic. He coolly said, that's from 5 years ago, when I went with my dad to visit a poor rural area. What's the issue with a photo like that? I almost swore out loud. This guy really wasn't going to stop until he hit rock bottom. Chapter 4. That evening, I had dinner plans with a few friends at Phoenix Tower, and once again, I ran into Makoto and Willow. This time, I was decked out in designer brands, and I clearly saw the surprise flash across Willow's eyes. Makoto smugly bragged to me. A girl like Willow, a real rich heiress, isn't just going to fall for anyone. We're perfectly matched. Rich heiress. If she were really from a rich family, would she be constantly finding excuses to make me spend money on her? One day she was hungry, the next her phone credit ran out, then she had nothing to wear, or ran out of makeup. She even asked me to buy her a gift for Ancestors' Day. I smirked. Rich heiress, that's hilarious. The line was loaded with sarcasm. I walked past them, head held high. Willow hadn't snapped out of her shock yet. She frowned and muttered, what's with him? He looks like a completely different person, almost like he's actually rich. Makoto brushed it off, saying it was all for show, and added magnanimously, tonight, I'm treating you to the most expensive items on the menu. Willow's expression softened, and she nodded happily. But when the bill came, 15,000 yuan, Makoto, whose entire budget was only 300, shot up from his seat like a spring. He gasped. It's that expensive? Willow awkwardly tugged him back down. I told you already, didn't I? This place is pricey. Makoto looked uneasy. Willow, I just remembered, my credit card's maxed out today. Could you cover it for now? After a bit of awkward back and forth, Willow reluctantly decided to use her family card, but the next moment, she was greeted with a message, card cancelled. Frustrated, she pulled out her personal debit card, the same card she had slowly saved up on throughout 4 years of college, by mooching off me. The way she reluctantly punched in her PIN, like parting with her soul, was broadcasted right on our private booth's TV screen. After everything she took from me, if I didn't make her cough it all up, I wouldn't be George. That night, I got a call from Willow, asking me to come downstairs. She demanded to know why I unlinked her from the family card. I laughed. What's wrong? I thought you were some high-class heiress. Why would you care about my measly little card? Willow's face twisted, and she started whining. I don't care what you say, you're paying me back for that dinner, I said. Excuse me, and who are you exactly? Am I your dad? Why would I reimburse you? Willow screamed. If you hadn't shown off in the dorm about eating at Phoenix Tower, Makoto wouldn't have taken me there. If he hadn't taken me there, I wouldn't have had to use the family card. And if you hadn't cancelled the card, I wouldn't have paid with my own money. As she yelled, she grabbed my arm and refused to let go, insisting that I take responsibility. I laughed out of sheer disbelief, then slapped her hand away. How did I not realize before that she was such an idiot? I met Willow in the library. The way she studied so seriously reminded me of someone I used to know. Chapter 5. The counselor announced in the group chat that the school would be holding a sports meet tomorrow. He also mentioned that 2 big-name CEOs from City A, George Zilla Group and the Sioux Corporation, had been invited. Our dorm's resident bootlicker got way too excited. From my bunk bed, I could see the smug little smile on his face. If you didn't know better, you'd think his dad was the one coming, he said. Makoto, look, your dad's coming to the school event. A flicker of unease crossed Makoto's face, and I caught it. I asked, what's wrong? Not happy your dad's coming. Before he could respond, the bootlicker cut in. Makoto's just too happy, obviously. Don't talk nonsense. Yeah, screw you too. Makoto stepped out with his phone, probably to call my actual dad. Sure enough, he returned not long after. I opened WeChat and saw a message from my dad. Makoto just called me. I did exactly what you said. So, how's that, son? Your old man nailed it, right? I replied with a big fat, awesome meme. Then came another message. By the way, Anna's coming to the school event too. I was lying on my bed playing with my phone. Thunk, the phone dropped square on my face. She's back in the country. The phone rang. When I saw the name flashing on the screen, I swallowed hard and picked up. Trying to sound casual, I said, Anna, what's up? No reply. Then, after a long pause, did you get a girlfriend? That strange pressure in her voice made my breath catch. I've been low-key terrified of Anna since we were kids. That wild girl used to beat me up constantly. Once she made me play the Frog Prince and do over 400 frog jumps in a day. Just thinking about it made my legs twitch. Even though she couldn't see me, I still instinctively shook my head and said, no way, not a chance. She gave a cold snort. Really? Just that single word, with the upward lilt at the end, total intimidation. I scrambled to explain. It was just a random fling. Didn't mean anything. We already broke up. Anna chuckled softly. Come outside. I'm at your school gate. I jumped down from my bed and ran full speed to the gate. She stood near the security booth. Light makeup made her features look fresh and delicate. The black pleated skirt fell just above her knees, showing off her long legs, and her porcelain skin glowed under the sunlight. The moment her gaze landed on me, I immediately stood at attention like a soldier. She handed me a lunchbox. When I saw what was inside, I nearly burst with joy. This is Sue Auntie's famous Chow Mai Royale. Right, I thought she was still overseas. Did you seriously bring this back all the way from abroad? Anna scoffed, getting all excited over a bit of food. Huh. I couldn't wait. I popped one into my mouth. The familiar taste exploded on my tongue. I mean, of course I'm excited. It's been years since I last had this, I said. Her voice lowered, as soft as a breeze brushing past my ear. Well, you're in luck. From now on, there's plenty more where that came from. I looked at her, and our eyes met, locked, just like that. Chapter 6. I lay on my dorm bed, staring at the ceiling for a long time, unable to snap out of it. I touched my right cheek, grinning like an idiot. The warmth of Anna's lips still lingered there. Just earlier, she suddenly stood on tiptoe and kissed me. Thinking about it made my chest burn. What did that even mean? I immediately went online and searched. What does it mean when a girl kisses you first? Netizens responded with gems like, she just wants you to spill gold coins. And another, bro, you were dreaming. I rolled my eyes. As I kept scrolling, one comment made me stop. Obviously, it means she likes you, likes me. Anna likes me. Chapter 7. After a completely sleepless night, I showed up at the sports field with panda eyes. Makoto was surrounded by a group of people, all fawning over him. Your dad's really generous. New laptop, new phone, damn. Another chimed in. Yeah, not like someone who's so stingy he couldn't even spend on his girlfriend. No wonder she dumped him. Someone else added. Willow was smart to pick Makoto. Now that's what you call a good match. Makoto patted the guy's arm like a saint. Hey now, don't say that. It's not George's fault he's poor. If we can help, we should. As soon as he said that, the bootlickers around him turned their noses up at me. Makoto added with a smirk. I've got some old clothes and pants I don't need. I'll give them to you later. And you can have the half-used shampoo in the bathroom too. That look on his face, like a nobleman tossing scraps to a beggar. He glanced at me smugly, as if waiting for me to break. I swear, that face was begging for a punch. Just then, a stir erupted at the school gate. My dad had arrived. Makoto rushed forward enthusiastically to help him out of the car. To everyone watching, the scene looked like the perfect father-son reunion. The bootlickers swarmed over too, all calling uncle like they meant it. My dad nodded politely at them. Makoto, clearly worried someone would say too much, quickly leaned toward my dad and said, let's head over there and sit for a bit. My dad held up a hand to block him, frowning. I'm here to see my son. Why are you tagging along? I couldn't help the smile tugging at my lips. My dad's voice wasn't exactly quiet. Everyone nearby heard it, and a wave of whispers swept through the crowd. Makoto stood frozen in place, completely embarrassed. I stepped forward and called out with a smile. Dad. My classmates stared at me in utter shock. Chapter 8. I put on an innocent face and asked, Dad, do you know Makoto? Before my dad could answer, Makoto clenched his fists and cut in. Of course he does. George, what's with the weird question? People around us started whispering. George must have gone crazy. Maybe he's just jealous of Makoto, another added. This is so embarrassing. Look at Chairman Wang's face, he's clearly pissed. But my dad just smiled and patted my shoulder, turning to my classmates. My son George has always been a handful. If he does anything out of line, I hope you'll forgive him. I'll treat everyone to a nice dinner sometime. The crowd gasped. They thought they'd misheard. Makoto's eyes widened in disbelief. Our bootlicker roommate even pulled out the infamous forum photo and, still clinging to hope, asked, Uncle, aren't you Makoto's father? My dad glanced at the post, face darkening, and scolded. Makoto, I sponsored your education so you could study. This is what you've learned. Sponsored? The moment that word dropped, everyone's expression shifted. Makoto panicked and turned the blame on me. George, I didn't know you were Chairman Wang's biological son. Chairman Wang has always treated me well and even mentioned more than once that he hoped I could be like a son to him. If this upset you, I sincerely apologize. With just a few words, he tried to paint himself as the victim and stir sympathy, but my dad's eyes were cold now. When did I ever say something like that? Makoto bowed again and again. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. My dad's sharp gaze swept over him. Makoto, what I did say was this, you're a good kid, and your parents are lucky to have a son like you. That's what I actually said, isn't it? The crowd murmured. Chairman Wang never said any of that. Makoto was just fantasizing. Shameless. Stealing someone's dad to fake being rich, that's a new low. The words were like knives stabbing into Makoto's pride. He stumbled back a step, then fled the crowd in total humiliation. Suddenly, someone in the crowd shouted, Wait a second, has anyone noticed that Georgezilla Group is literally named after George? I ignored the room full of brown-nosers and took my dad to sit at the VIP seats. He said, George, I'm going to stop sponsoring Makoto. With a sigh, he added, I never thought that sweet, sensible boy would turn out like this. I knew my dad had always placed high hopes on the kids he sponsored. Makoto was the first stain on that record. I support you, Dad, I said firmly. Just as the words left my mouth, a lunchbox appeared in front of me. Anna had appeared beside me out of nowhere. Thinking about last night still felt like a dream. My dad chuckled knowingly, clearly picking up on the vibes between us. Anna blushed and said, Today it's pineapple buns. I smiled. Thanks, Anagigia. Just as I opened the box to take a bite, someone snatched it right out of my hand. When I saw who it was, I snapped. Willow, are you insane? Willow glared at Anna, full of suspicion. George, who is she? Then, with pure spite, she threw the pineapple bun to the ground. What the hell? I completely lost it. Smack, I slapped her across the face. She stumbled and hit the ground hard, grinding my teeth. I said, Willow, I don't want to curse at you, but can you act like a human being for once? Touch my food again and I swear you won't see another day. Willow got up and clutched my arm. George, I was wrong before. Makoto tricked me. Please give me another chance. I sneered, looking at her like the pitiful clown she was. Oh, weren't you telling everyone I'm a stingy loser who wouldn't spend a cent on you? She bit her lip, speechless. I continued. Have some shame, will you? When we were together, I even paid for your freaking tampons. Every single day you came up with some excuse to squeeze money out of me. Even during Ancestor Worship Day, a festival for the dead, you asked for gifts. What's next? Want me to burn you 2 golden ingots in the afterlife? By now, all the students had taken their seats, and I intentionally raised my voice. People whispered. Can't believe Willow's that kind of person. She and Makoto really are a match made in hell. One's a gold digger who mooches off guys and trashes their names. The other's a fraud stealing someone's dad to pretend to be rich. Man, if it were me, I'd demand every single penny back from her. No way I'd let a gold digger off that easy. Someone added. Exactly. George should take it all back. I raised an eyebrow. Not a bad suggestion. Willow shamelessly switched to full-on audacity mode and shouted. The gifts are already given. There's no reason to take them back. George, as the heir to the Georgezilla Group, you definitely wouldn't do something like that. Oh, moral blackmail. As long as I have no morals, no one can blackmail me. Chapter 9, I said coldly. Wow, Willow, you really are trash. You were already messing around with Makoto before we even broke up, weren't you? Willow's eyes darted, avoiding my gaze, but she still tried to deny it. Then, her gaze shifted to Anna and she snapped back. As if you didn't cheat on me first. Who's she? Your side chick. Seeing my fist nearly ready to fly again, our counselor stepped in and barked. Willow, watch what you're saying. George is the heir to Wong Corporation. And that's Anna, daughter of President Su. Show some class and don't embarrass the school. Anna stood up, walked over, and casually wrapped her arm around mine. I'm George's girlfriend. Got a problem with that? Willow opened her mouth to argue, but when she caught the look in my eyes, like I was ready to throw hands again, she quickly shut up. After a few seconds, she muttered one last line, plain pitiful. George, I know I was wrong before. I'll do whatever it takes to earn your forgiveness. But my mind was elsewhere. Wait a second, did Anna just say she's my girlfriend? I could barely contain the excitement bubbling inside me. I waved Willow off, annoyed. Willow, get lost. Seriously, now. Chapter 10. While watching the sports events, my dad glanced down at the one remaining pineapple bun in my hand. He said, Anna really knows your taste. You probably don't know this, but she learned to make that from her mom. I stared at Anna in disbelief. You made this? No wonder, it tasted exactly like Auntie Sue's. She nodded gently. As long as you like it. After the event, Anna and I walked out of the school hand in hand. I hesitated for a moment and asked, earlier, when you said you were my girlfriend, was that real or just to help me out? She stood on tiptoe, wrapped her arms around my neck, and kissed me again. Then she whispered, after all these years, you still haven't figured out how I feel. I shook my head. Honestly, no, I hadn't. Back then Anna used to train me like a dog. I didn't even dare to think she liked me. Anna pouted. Guess I've been using the wrong methods. When we got back to the dorm, the hallway was packed, and right at the door, there was Willow, kneeling on the ground in dramatic tears, putting on the biggest pity show of the decade. The moment she saw me, she scooted closer on her knees, sobbing. George, I was blind before. Can you please give me another chance? I hadn't seen someone so shameless in years. I frowned. Willow, dignity is a beautiful thing. Try wearing some next time you leave the house. But she didn't get mad, she just kept crying and begging. I know you still have feelings for me. I'll do anything if you forgive me. I rolled my eyes and thought for a second. Really? Then tell me, how can I trust you won't stab me in the back again? Willow's eyes lit up. She thought she had a shot. George, I'll prove it. However you want, I'll do it. I pulled out my phone and opened my payment QR code. Easy. First, pay me back for all the stuff I bought you. Willow hesitated. If I pay you back, will we really get back together? I was done. I closed my phone and turned to leave. She panicked and grabbed my arm. Okay, fine. I'll pay you back. Between marrying into a wealthy family and giving up a few grand, she knew which to choose. The sound of the payment notification rang out. Debt cleared. And the very next second, I shoved her away. Grinding my teeth, I snapped. Willow, go take a long hard look in the mirror. If I ever see your twisted little face again, I swear, I'll slap you every time. Willow, now truly pissed, blocked my path. What do you mean by that? I dare you to hit a girl in front of all these people. I didn't even bother arguing. Smack. Backhanded her right across the face. No one tried to stop me. In fact, the crowd broke into applause. Nice one. Willow realized she'd walked into a trap. She glared at me with pure hatred. I raised my hand again. Wanna go for round 2? She scrambled away, clutching her cheek. Turns out someone had filmed the whole scene and uploaded it online. Public outrage exploded over Willow's behavior. The school issued her a major disciplinary warning for her inappropriate conduct. Makoto wasn't spared either. He got dragged into the scandal and blasted on trending searches. Chapter 11. I never expected Makoto to team up with Willow and twist the whole truth, biting the hand that fed him. Makoto stood in front of the media and made up blatant lies. I want to expose something. On the surface, the Georgezilla group claims to sponsor underprivileged students out of goodwill, but I suspect it's for darker motives. They constantly sent me for health checkups and assigned me a personalized nutrition plan. At first, I didn't think much of it, until I realized even the tiniest issue, like a nosebleed, would get me dragged into their private hospital for a full body exam. Later, when I planned to study abroad after high school, they forbade me from leaving the country. That's when I realized I was just a capitalist's backup body. So I rebelled, and now, they're retaliating against me. The moment his statement dropped, online opinions became sharply divided. Georgezilla Group's stock prices began to fall rapidly. In our office, Makoto's video played on the big screen. My eyes were cold as ice. My dad's face was grim. I turned to him and said, "Don't worry, I've got a way to deal with Makoto." He took a sip of tea. "I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried your mother's gonna see this and get all worked up again, then I'll be the one suffering when she takes it out on me." I grinned and exposed him. "You just don't want to end up kneeling on the washboard again." He coughed awkwardly. "Anna's still here. Give your dad a little dignity." Anna and I were holding hands, locked in our own little world. I ordered the Georgezilla Group's PR department to release an official statement. All of these accusations are defamatory, and we will pursue legal action against those responsible, including online trolls. Cyberbullying ruins lives, and a keyboard shouldn't be a shield for slander. Meanwhile, Willow tossed her phone on the table in front of Makoto. Panicked. This has gone way too far. How are we supposed to fix this? But Makoto didn't look worried at all. He smirked. Relax. I've already hired internet trolls to control the narrative. As long as I stick to my story, Chairman Wang will have no choice but to beg me. Then we'll be the ones naming our price. Willow, comforted by his confidence, calmed down. She hadn't forgotten the humiliation she'd suffered the last couple of days. She muttered. Once the pressure's high enough, I'll threaten George into getting back with me. Then I can marry into a rich family and finally become a real socialite. Chapter 12. The next day, the situation escalated even further. I called Willow and asked her to meet up. She looked at me arrogantly. George, if you're willing to admit you were wrong, I might consider talking to Makoto on your behalf. I calmly pulled out a legal notice from my bag. Regarding the defamation you and Makoto spread about my father, we have all the evidence. Due to the damage you caused, including the stock drop, we'll be seeking compensation through legal channels. Willow broke on the spot. She grabbed the documents and shouted. George, how can you be so heartless? After everything we've been through, I wasn't in the mood for her crap. I grabbed the glass of water from the table and splashed it in her face. You've got jokes. You think you have the right to talk about everything we've been through. I grabbed my coat and headed upstairs to a private booth. Delivering the legal notice wasn't the real reason I was here. A few minutes later, a waitress came to ask about the bill. Pretending to trip, she accidentally bumped into Willow and subtly planted a listening device on her jacket. It matched the fabric perfectly, completely unnoticeable. The waitress came upstairs and gave me the signal. I handed her 2,000 yen in thanks. As I predicted, Willow panicked and rushed back to confront Makoto. She said, George filed a lawsuit against us. He said he has proof. Makoto, if you're going down, don't drag me with you. Makoto remained unfazed. Willow, chill the hell out. As long as I stick to the story, and with the army of paid trolls I hired, they won't be able to fight back. We'll drown them in spit, one netizen at a time. Listening to their pathetic little drama, I saved the entire recording and forwarded it to our PR team. I also contacted his troll farm and got their chat logs. All of it went public. The internet blew up. Chairman Wang sponsored an ungrateful traitor. He turned around and spat in his face. He even dared to frame someone like that. What a vile human being. How can someone like that stay in Peking University? Kick him out. The school was under massive pressure. Given the severity of Willow and Makoto's actions, the university expelled them both. I went to the police and handed over all the evidence. When the authorities moved in to arrest them, they found Willow but no sign of Makoto. He ran. Chapter 13. I was on my way to class when suddenly, a cold blade pressed against my back. Makoto, long time no see. Bet you never thought you'd end up in my hands. Huh. George. He was still wearing that same outfit from the sports meet. It reeked. His hair was a mess. His face unshaven, a total wreck. I said flatly. Makoto, are you trying to get yourself killed? He jabbed the knife into my back. I've got nothing to lose. Everyone's cursing my name online. My future's screwed. No job. No dignity. What am I supposed to be scared of now? He suddenly yanked me backward, locking my arms behind me and dragging the blade across my face. And hey, let's say it's 1 for 1. Your life for mine. Sounds like a good deal to me. I felt the warm trickle of blood run down my cheek. His movements caught the attention of nearby students. A girl took out her phone and immediately called the counselor and school authorities. I looked for an opening to break free. Makoto, I said, your family situation sucks. Sure, but didn't my dad offer you a position at Georgezilla Group? You could have easily made a living and taken care of your siblings. He snarled. Shut up. A job. That joke of a position wasn't a job, it was a dead-end desk gig. Why do you get to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth? The heir to $1 billion company. And me, I have to beg for scraps from your family. Life's not fair. I shook my head. Greed will swallow you whole. The counselor arrived and turned pale at the scene. Makoto, let's talk. Okay, if you're upset, we'll figure it out together. Just don't do anything stupid. Makoto snapped, waving the knife wildly. Back off, or I'll kill him. The counselor made calming gestures. Let's talk this through. Slowly, Makoto began ranting. Why does George get all the school honors? Why is everything handed to him? The counselor replied. He earned all those awards. They're from citywide competitions. We don't get to decide the winners. Makoto, put down the knife. Let's talk in my office. Makoto refused. He turned the blade toward the counselor. That was my chance. I grabbed his wrist, twisted it back hard. Clang, the knife dropped. Someone must have called the cops, because they arrived fast. As Makoto was dragged away, I looked into his eyes, rage and hate. He would never understand where he went wrong. I was sent to the school clinic to treat the cut on my face. The counselor stayed with me, worried I'd been traumatized. I reassured him. I'm fine, really, don't worry. Suddenly, a figure rushed in, Anna. Her eyes scanned me head to toe. She looked genuinely shaken. I pointed at the gash on my face and joked. This'll probably leave a scar. People might think I'm some gangster boss. You sure you're ready to be the boss's girl? Anna gave me her answer with action. Good thing the counselor had just left, or I'd have died of second-hand embarrassment. I pinched her cheek gently to reassure her. Does it hurt? She asked, voice full of worry. I shook my head. Just a scratch. I'm okay. Court day arrived. I sat quietly in the gallery. Plenty of witnesses had seen Makoto's attack. He was convicted quickly. 5 years in prison for attempted assault and defamation. He cussed everyone out, didn't care who was in front of him. Still playing the victim. Still crying for revenge. His elderly parents knelt before me in tears, begging for mercy. I said calmly, Sir, ma'am, Makoto is getting what he deserves. If you do something wrong, you take responsibility for it. They had pinned their hopes on Makoto helping the family after graduation. Now, all of that, gone. As I walked out of the courthouse, I could still hear their sobs, but truth is, they shared the blame. Makoto became what he is today in part because they never taught him right from wrong. Willow, charged with defamation, was sentenced to 1 year in prison and fined $500,000. Her family wasn't wealthy to begin with. There was no way they could pay that. They had to sell their house just to cover her mess. Her mistake became their burden. Chapter 14. After graduation, I managed the company my father gave me with great efficiency. City A's business circle gained another, President Wang, one whose style was strikingly similar to his father, swift, decisive, no nonsense. 5 years later, my father officially handed over full control of Georgezilla Group to me. He and my mother set off to travel the world, finally living the life of leisure they deserved. I glanced down at the invitation in my hand, another social dinner tonight. I slipped into a sleek black suit, understated yet elegant. My car pulled up in front of a 7-star hotel. The moment I stepped out, a hostess opened the door for me. Welcome, sir. The voice was strangely familiar. I looked up. It was Willow. She looked pale and worn, all her youthful charm long gone. The moment she recognized me, she turned and fled like a ghost had just appeared. Inside, I smoothly navigated the social scene. When I saw Anna reaching for a glass of wine, I stopped her immediately, frowning. Babe, you're not supposed to drink while we're trying for a baby. I handed her a glass of fruit juice instead. Laughter and teasing rippled through the crowd. President Wang and Mrs. Wang are so sweet together. We're all jealous. I smiled at Anna. A few years ago, that kind of attention would have made me scratch my head awkwardly. Now, I was used to it. I responded smoothly. Oh, Mrs. Chan, you're too kind. If anyone should be envied, it's you. Everyone in City A knows your husband treats you like royalty. After some polite small talk, Anna yawned. I escorted her out. Lately, she'd been feeling tired all the time, no matter how much she slept. Maybe it was just seasonal fatigue, I thought. At the hotel entrance, a commotion nearby caught my attention. You idiot. I told you to stay at the door and greet guests. What were you thinking? Crying and throwing yourself on people's cars? Are you mentally unstable or something? Go get help. This is a workplace, not a charity. It was Willow, red-eyed and trembling. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'll pay for it. Her supervisor was furious. Do you have any idea how much that car costs? Even if you worked for 10 years, you couldn't afford the damage. Willow didn't even dare look up. When the manager noticed me, he rushed over, bowing. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wang. The new hire didn't know better. She accidentally scratched your car. She'll pay for it. I frowned. It's fine, forget it. It was just a mark, no big deal. More importantly, I didn't want to have anything to do with Willow anymore. As I got into the car, I faintly heard the manager say she'd been fired. Anna held my hand and pouted. I'm so sleepy. Let's go home. Okay. Something clicked in my mind. I said, Babe, let's go to the hospital tomorrow. She nodded. Okay. She knew what I was thinking because she was thinking it too. The next day, we went to the hospital for a checkup. While waiting for the results, my palms were sweaty from nerves. On my way to the restroom, I passed a hospital room and froze at what I heard. You owe money. You pay up. Quit playing dumb. Peeking through the glass on the door, I saw a man lying in bed, one leg in a cast. Makoto. Another man stood over him, shouting threats. Turns out, after getting out of prison, Makoto had been obsessed with getting rich quick, but instead of success, he fell deep into gambling. As expected, he lost everything, including his family's last savings. Then came the loan sharks. Unable to pay, he tried to run. They caught him and broke his leg. If I catch you trying to run again, the men growled. It won't just be one leg next time. Makoto didn't fight back. After they left, he turned away, shoulders trembling in silence. Chapter 15. The test results came back. I stared at the word pregnant on the report. I was over the moon. Right there in the hallway, I lifted Anna up and spun her in circles.